Well, guys, it's finally here. 18 years after the book's release, nearly 14 years since the questionable movie adaptation, and 2 years since the announcement, we finally have the Percy Jackson reboot on Disney+. You might be saying, another Disney reboot? When are they ever gonna make anything original instead of constantly rehashing old stuff? But wait just a second, this reboot is a bit different than the rest, and actually has a reason to exist. The original movie adaptations were panned by both critics and the general audience, while being absolutely torched by fans for not following the plots of the original books and butchering the story. Fans have been desperate for a faithful adaptation, and with the author having a major role in the development of this series, there has been significant hype that the series will fill that void. So is this series gonna live up to expectations? Let's find out.
If you think you might be one of us, my advice is turn away while you still can. Because once you know what you are, they'll sense it too. And they'll come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you.
The episode opens with Percy monologuing about being a demigod, which is actually the first few lines from the book. If your goal is to be true to the source material, I would say this is a pretty good start.
It happened again. These impossible things that felt like they walked right out of the stories my mom always told me. So real one minute, and then the next.
So we see a flashback of younger Percy having these strange visions and sightings of where he sees into the mythological world, but everyone else in his life just reassures him that it's just his imagination and his mind playing tricks on him. But before we go any further, can I just talk about how similar the actors for younger and older Percy look? Like, I legit had to look up to see if they were related somehow. Like, damn, those casting directors really killed it with this one. Anyways, Percy is your typical outcast who faces bullying. I mean, it can't be based off a YA novel if the main character doesn't have trouble fitting in some way. But Percy isn't completely alone, he still has Grover, his best friend. While at the museum, he continues to get bullied by this girl, Nancy Bobofit, but when he tries to confront her, this happens. And then his math teacher turns into a fury and attacks him. He accidentally defeats it and passes out. Truly just another Tuesday for Percy Jackson. After waking up, no one else in their class has any memory of the math teacher, and everyone just thinks Percy just happened to faint randomly. Percy just once again chalks it up to another one of his strange visions. Then he gets kicked out of school for pushing Nancy. Also, this person in the corner seems kind of distinguished, almost like he could be an author of some sort. Percy, now kicked out of school, has to naturally go home, where his stepdad Gabe is waiting for him at the door.
Welcome home, genius.
Is my mom home from work?
Oh, is that all you gotta say to me? Huh? After failing out of school?
Fail out of school?
Your principal called and that's what he said. Said you got kicked out.
They called mom's cell. You answer mom's cell?
I answer whatever's ringing.
For those who didn't read the books, Gabe in the books is clearly written as someone who is menacing, and it's implied that he's physically abusive in some way. But in the show, he's not as scary and he's just like a pathetic gambling addict.
No, I hate watching the Knicks alone.
So do I.
Make sure they put the hot peppers on my sandwich,
Not
please.
if you're gonna ask like that.
I said please. Please, could you have them put the peppers on my sandwich?
I don't necessarily think this is a bad change though, as sometimes it's easier to read things than to see a scene like that with real actors. Anyways, Percy and his mom go on a trip to their cabin in Montauk, so they have a chance to be alone and talk about what Percy is seeing. This is when his mom finally reveals to Percy that everything he is seeing is real and that his father is a god.
The stories that I have told you about Greek gods and heroes and monsters, they are real.
Percy has got to be thinking at this point like, damn, you went from a literal Greek god to this dude? Then surprisingly, his friend Grover appears at the door, who no surprise knew about all of this the entire time, and he informs them that they have to leave right now.
Grover, why is there half a goat in your pants?
Oh, it's... Oh, boy, she didn't tell you about... You didn't tell him about me?
So Percy has just learned in like the span of like 10 minutes that 1, his best friend is half goat, 2, he's the son of a god, 3, all of his visions are real and that he really did kill a fury this morning, and this is his reaction? I get that the show had to rush through some stuff to fit the entire book into like 8 episodes, but this dude's face looks like he just learned that zucchini is actually a fruit and not that his entire life is a lie. Anyways, Grover then proceeds to dump a whole bunch more information on Percy in the car ride. Like, dude wasn't confused enough already.
The mist. It's the veil that hides the magical world from the human world. My legs, Dodds' wings, even Dodds' absence. But it isn't supposed to hide things from me. That never happens. Something powerful is at work here.
But suddenly they get attacked by a minotaur who flips their car over and then proceeds to kill Percy's mom. And again, Percy out here not really getting fazed by anything. Percy out here looking like he just learned that he failed a pop quiz, instead of the fact that with his bare eyes he just saw his mom get vaporized in front of him by a minotaur. Anyways, he ends up having to fight the minotaur, and naturally he wins. Just another common Percy W. But then he faints again. I guess fighting a minotaur kinda does that to you. The episode ends with Percy waking up in Camp Half-Blood.
He must be the one.
Hush, Annabeth. He's waking. Everyone, give him some space, please. Welcome to camp, Percy Jackson. We've been expecting you.
As far as opening episodes would go, I would say it's pretty good. The only thing is, the pace seems extremely fast. Like the characters really never have time to react to anything. Percy throughout this episode learns life-altering information, and he kind of is just like, meh? I feel like the episodes being longer and an hour each would have really helped the show feel not too rushed, as it would have allowed the characters to have a chance to process things. I am all for keeping to the source material this time around, but each book isn't exactly small, and it feels like they're trying to stuff as much of the book as they possibly can into each episode. Making some minor changes when adapting to a different media is not bad, but you also don't want another movie situation either, so I really don't know. It's a very difficult thing to balance. Either way, what are your thoughts? Let me know down below, and if I should review the second episode as well.